I never got to graduate from UW-Madison, and what I'm experiencing now is some sort of dorm-like atmosphere where I have this small space, this small bedroom again, and I don't actually have control over my mind or my life. And that's how hard I got witched at UW-Madison Celery Hall. I experienced witchcraft for some time now, and I ended up crying myself to sleep every night in a row, almost. It might have happened weeks to in some month or two, and at least in a month. And I got into that college, and I must have received 80 to 90% A grades. Red apple A grades. However, because of the party culture and the chaos around that dorm, when I was being witched in my head, I never would have stayed at that university. However, I do know that I am a part of that university in my life because I got accepted out of high school. And I was receiving all of these A letter grades. I would walk around college with a red backpack on. I loved this school so much, I just wore a red JanSport. That's what I remember most about my experience at UW-Madison. My mom's coughing profusely right now, and I think it's the witch as well. And we've got this little house in the Northwoods. My nose is stuffed up right now. I believe that's the witchcraft as well. I experienced some really acute pain in my head when I do get witched. Primarily, it's acute pain in my head. Like when I cried myself to sleep, I believe I had the acute pain in my head at UW-Madison, as well as an overwhelming fear. Acute pain and acute fear are what I feel when I get witched. From who I believe is Danielle Haim, in this singing group with her sisters from California, LA. And I believe she put scratches on my skin as a child. She became so wild, and I do believe there is only one witch. However, I do believe that one witch changed the course of my life. And continues to. However, the main themes that continue to remain a part of my life are being able to separate my experiences from myself. And that's how I believe I got to graduate college, actually, with a witch in my head. So I like to look at my life like a success, because I got to graduate college with a witch in my head who tried to get me to drop out and die of cancer. The cells in my body, black magic is evil. And commonly now, the cells in my body overheat or sweat a lot. It's so uncomfortable in my body. A lot of the time. The witch will appear like a mole rat or a warthog in the middle of my mind. And I'll experience acute pain in my head. Pretty much like this warthog's eating all of these red apple A's from UW-Madison. And however, I didn't even have a support system to keep me over there at the time. But I for sure also had a witch in my head. And I actually got to graduate college. And I can't believe that. And I got to pick up guitar at the time. And I became a rock legend. So much so it feels like I'm witching. Witch songs. It feels like I make witch songs. Sometimes. Because some of them are so aggressive. So aggressive. And I became a real saint. I will cry myself to sleep at UW-Madison. I had this acute fear and pain in my head. And I experienced that acute fear and pain this morning, and I wanted to make this voice recording. I'm just going to title it UW-Madison Witchcraft. And I can't believe I graduated college with a witch inside of my head. However, I got to pick up theater and guitar along the way. I'm the strawberryness. In Eau Claire, I got to isolate myself from everything. And I would stay alone. And maybe that's why I got witched. Maybe less. But I did remove everybody from my life. Damn near. In Minneapolis, I had plenty of friends from the past and the present. Friends always appear in my life because I'm such a friendly person. And I can't believe I graduated college with a witch inside of my head. At UW-Madison, I remember feeling so lame and dumb in my head. And that's how the witch makes me feel now. lame and stupid. And I know now I didn't really get to experience UW-Madison how a student should because of the extreme witchcraft. Acute pain and acute fear control the cells of my mind whenever she likes. But those aren't the acute attacks because of all of this Tylenol I'm taking. However, they are acute. Over the past 4 or 5 years, there are plenty of times where I'm mind controlled to believe that I will die. So I do go through that pain in my head as well. I did go through witchcraft on LSD. That was later in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And what I remember about Madison is crying myself to sleep. And my mother giving up on me. And I can't believe I have a degree in science because of that crying and the pain and the fear that I felt in my mind. It was so acute. I thought I had some major mental health problems. However, I would continue to have to experience those mental health problems to seek out help. And they didn't continue. However, I believe that's the main reason that I left the college. It's because I felt it the year before. Second, my second year over there, I came back quite triumphant. As this JFK Jr. hair, good looking, young man. 80 to 90%, I would say 80 to 90% A-letter grades at UW-Madison as a true freshman. And I did transfer from that school. And I believe it's from all of this acute crying that I went through in my dorm in Celery Hall. An acute fear, always in anguish. An acute physical pain inside of my head. And I didn't know that on my own, all of the stress in my body couldn't result in physical pain in my head because I've only lived in one body, in one life. And I do have a witch living inside of my mind because of the chip placed on my head. And maybe that's why I may be the only person in world history to be witched on LSD as well. Or cry myself to sleep from witchcraft at UW-Madison, for all I know. I do have a very calm mind. It was pretty much set in stone in kindergarten with Mrs. Barnes. I thought, I was Aristotle to myself in kindergarten for that. I feel a lot of self-doubt a lot of the time from witchcraft. Those are times where I probably feel 12. However, when I say 12, I maybe became obese as a child because of the witch in my mind as well. I experience times now where I will become immediately hungry for any food in the world. And I do believe that is the witchcraft as well. And I ate too many of these granola bars when I was a kid. And I do believe I did become a fat kid because of the witchcraft as well. And I did cry myself to sleep at UW-Madison from the witchcraft. I do believe as well. And I can't believe I have a degree in science. I got to have a good job when I was working on my songwriting, selling software. I'm looking forward to having the witch removed from my mind because I know I didn't get to live in anything but this life. And I would like some respect. I would like some respect. I'm looking forward to participating over at UW-Madison because in my eyes I became triumphant. To have the most social year in my life, my sophomore year of college. It's the most social year of my life. I haven't been as social since then because I couldn't have topped it. And I had a lot of fun with a lot of people. And then I did leave. It took me 18 years to get into UW-Madison. And I became so acutely witched over there that I had to leave no matter what. In a support system, I always asked for something more. And in a way, you are very alone once you're in college, unless you've got some roommate that can really help you out. But everybody is in their own major and their own journey. But dang nabbit, if you've got a witch stuck in your head, making you feel lame, in the common eating area where you think you can meet your wife, but you feel lame and dumb, but you're a badger. What are you going to do? And I enjoyed the parties and the ice cream. And I maintained some pretty good shape in my life. However, I'm going through witchcraft now, and my foot's bruised, and I can't run anymore. So I took up cycling. And I've got this Madison crew neck I'll wear when I'm cycling or running. It's a gray one. And I more so think it's from kindergarten for me. Because that's what I go back to when I get witched so much. As I'm probably in Mrs. Barnes' class and I'm in kindergarten again. Because I can't take this thing off my head. And there's a witch stuck inside of my head. And I go through so much acute pain and anguish in my head. That's where I go back to. It's probably Mrs. Barnes' class. I had so much fun with that teacher. I love school and life so much. And at this time, I'm stuck in my childhood house. And my room, it's not the biggest room. It's some small space. It's almost like a dorm room. Like I've never been out of a dorm room. I'm looking forward to Bill helping me in my life because I haven't been helped in life yet. And I can't believe I earned a science degree with a witch stuck in my head, forcing me to quit everything I ever started, any time of the day. I believe I suffered acute witchcraft at UW Madison and Celery Hall.